Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're discussing the Arachyr Fire Locust Swarm T16 build. Firewalker has never been better than in Season 28, and it is up there with Spirit Barrage for one of the fastest T16 Witch Doctor builds. The Wormwood staff is going to be in the cube. As we run around, this is going to passively cast Locust Swarm for us. This passive Locust Swarm will take on any rune that we have equipped on our action bar. So we're going to run Locust Swarm Searing Locust, which is the fire rune of Locust Swarm, and the highest potential damage that you can get out of any of the runes. We also get to take advantage of the Pestilence rune by running the Vile Hive mojo on our character. This gives us a damage multiplier for Locust Swarm, and then also just gives us that Pestilence rune. Locust Swarm will now jump to 2 additional enemies opposed to just 1. So the idea here is to have enough damage to where your Locust Swarm is killing the trash mobs before you run too far away from them. You basically don't want to have to stop whatsoever until you find an elite or champion pack. That brings us to the Arachyr set itself. So the only relevant part of the 2 set for us is that we're getting the permanent Spider Queen. And then for the 4 set, that Spider Queen now leaves behind webs that last for 15 seconds and slow enemies. And then you take 75% reduced damage while in the web and for 4 seconds after. And then of course the main reason why we're running this set is the 6-piece. The damage of your creature skills are increased by 25,000%. For us, the ones that matter here are the Locust Swarm, and then we're going to be running Fire Bats for single target. We're going to run 5 pieces of the set: the shoulders, the gloves, the chest piece, the pants, and the boots. Then we're going to have the Ring of Royal Grandeur in the cube to finish the 6-piece set. 2 pieces of the Guardian set are also equipped: the helmet and the bracers. The 2 set of the Guardian gives us some melee damage reduction and some missile damage reduction. But the main reason for running this is the 3-piece. That reads, you gain an additional 100% of your base strength, dexterity, intelligence, and vitality attributes from equipped items. Not only is it a major damage increase, but you also get a ton of vitality, which means you have a massive life pool, potentially pushing close to 2 million life. For single target, we have Fire Bats with the Dire Bats rune. I personally like Dire Bats the most. It's a long-range Fire Bats, and I just enjoy the skill. I like using it. You can definitely run Cloud of Bats instead if you prefer to run that. This will be paired with the Bakuli Jungle Wraps, so while an enemy is affected by Locust Swarm, they're going to take 300% increased damage from Fire Bats. And again, we are running that Wormwood that is passively casting Locust Swarm on everything. So then very quickly, any elite and champion that you run into is going to be affected by Locust Swarm to then get that damage increase from the belt. Alternatively, you could also just drop Fire Bats completely and the belt and just run Corpse Spiders. So you could run Blazing Spiders for single target. You have a couple options there. You could just throw on a Witching Hour for the belt, or you could run the Guardian's belt instead of the helmet, and potentially open up another armor item somewhere. The main movement ability is Spirit Walk Severance. Spirit Walk with this rune gives 150% increased movement speed. That's going to be paired with the Engiom. So this reads, your skill cooldowns are reduced by 10 seconds for 15 seconds after killing an elite pack. And Spirit Walk's cooldown is 10 seconds. So as soon as we kill that first elite or champion pack, we can spam Spirit Walk after that. So it's amazing for the movement speed, but another really nice added benefit here is that when you're in Spirit Walk, you are invulnerable. And so since this is going to be off cooldown constantly, we're invulnerable the majority of the map. That pairs really well with the Squirt's Necklace. So this reads, while not taking damage, damage dealt is increased by up to 100%, and damage taken is increased by up to 50%. So again, if we're invulnerable from Spirit Walk, we are not taking damage, therefore keeping this buff up very consistently. The rest of the abilities are all there for movement speed as well. We have Soul Harvest, Soul to Waste. So this is going to stack up to 5 times. It's going to give you some intelligence, so you're going to get some damage out of it. But the main reason to run it is you gain 5% increased movement speed for each enemy harvested. So again, stacking up to 5 times, so 25% increased movement speed. Horrify Stalker. This causes enemies to tremor in fear and be immobilized for 3 seconds. And then it also increases your movement speed by 20% for 4 seconds after casting Horrify. We're going to pair this with the Rochelle's Ring of Larceny. This reads, gain up to 60% increased movement speed for 4 seconds after fearing an enemy. And then finally we have Summon Zombie Dog's Life Link. The lifelink rune makes your zombie dogs absorb 10% of all damage done to you. But the main reason we're running this is so we have some pets in the build for the fierce loyalty passive, which gives us even more movement speed. We'll talk about the passives here in just a minute. But before we get there, we have two more powerful items to discuss. The first being the Ring of Emptiness. This reads, you and your non-fetish pets deal up to 300% increased damage to enemies affected by either your haunt or Locust Swarm. So again, Wormwood passively casting Locust Swarm on everything, we're going to get this damage increase. And then finally, in the armor slot in the cube, we're going to be running the Quetzalcoatl Voodoo Mask. Locust Swarm and Haunt now deal their damage in half of the normal duration. Effectively, what this does is it doubles your Locust Swarm damage. That brings us to the passives. So first up, Grave Injustice. Gain 1% of your maximum life and mana and reduce the cooldown of all of your skills by 1 second when an enemy dies within 20 yards. And then the range of this is extended by items that increase your gold pickup radius. We'll be running the Avarice Band on our follower, so as soon as we start picking up gold, we'll extend the radius of this. Now this passive may not always be necessary, but I find it to be extremely valuable when you kind of get an elite or champion drought and you don't have NG on procs. Not having the cooldown reduction from your weapon and not having Grave Injustice could potentially make some T16 rifts extremely long. Gruesome Feast. When you're healed by a health globe, gain 10% of your maximum mana and 10% intelligence for 15 seconds. The intelligence bonus stacks up to 5 times. So just a big damage increase. In T16, we're going to be getting health globes constantly, so we're going to be sitting at 5 stacks the majority of the time. Keep in mind, you also have even more health globe synergy in Season 28 with the Altar of Rites. You're going to also be getting shields every time you pick up a health globe. And then that Fierce Loyalty passive like we discussed. So while you have a pet out, your movement speed is increased by 15%. And then this bonus is increased to 30% while your zombie dogs are not in combat. And then the final passive, I'm running Pierce the Veil. All of your damage is increased by 20%, but your mana costs are increased by 30%. If you find you're having mana issues with fire bats, you can absolutely drop this in favor of Confidence Ritual instead. And in general, if you just think you have enough damage, you could run something like Spirit Vessel, just get a second life. And I guess you could even throw on Swampland Attunement, Jungle Fortitude, get some more damage reduction going on. For legendary gems, we have Zea's Stone of Vengeance. You're going to deal more damage the farther away an enemy is. This synergizes very well with Locust Swarm. Bane of the Trapped, damage is increased against enemies that are crowd controlled. And then Boon of the Hoarder, more gold is going to drop, and we're going to get a movement speed increase when we pick up that gold. I'll put a D3 planner link in the video description with all the correct stats on gear. This will probably be my go-to T16 farmer in Season 28, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.